All right, loves, happy Sunday. Let's talk supplies for today's project on part 2 of the series of the Tender and Strong. And I share lots of goodness at the end of the video, so I hope you stick around for that. But right now, let's talk about supplies. So here's the piece that we're creating today. And a couple things that I want you to watch as I'm putting this together. So this side is got tons of paper and goodness and just really super grungy. This is obviously more simplified. And that was kind of depicting the tender and the strong, the two sides. And I want you to notice that as I progressed through the piece, there were some adjustments. I kind of struggled with this side because there was so much going on over here. But watch in the video as I'm creating how I, extend my focal point out over here. I end up adding some more things over here because it was feeling too center. And when we're creating a composition, we work with the rule of thirds, and it should be more towards one side or the other. And so I helped that, and as soon as I added these things over here, I was like, oh, okay, that feels much better. And then the other thing was that it was so chaotic over here, which I love now, but until I started toning this down, and really kind of separating the focal point from all of this chaos over here. This side was fine. From all of this over here, that's when it felt better. And we have to be willing, no matter how many wonderful things I had going on over here, which I love them all, we have to be willing to let go of the idea, the background, the whatever, to make the piece kind of come together. It's still very busy, but that's okay because that's kind of that juxtaposition between the hard and the soft, the tender and the strong, that kind of thing. And so I wanted that grunginess, but I needed to kind of really push it back. So I want you to watch for that as we put everything together. We made a ton of really great papers in the video so that we could do some really cool transparent layers over here. I used a ton of stencils making the papers, and then using all my swirls and things for my flowers, and then the bellflower vintage. I think this is a vintage bellflower. This is a swirls. This is swish and splat. This is flourish. And then a bunch of scribble marks and numbers and things like that, numbers and letters. So all of those, that's a ton. All of those will be on sale this week. And then, let's see, all the different papers were random bits that I had in my stash that I used that kind of spoke to me in the story of the piece. I used my gesso for my white, for my background, for all the highlights and stuff like that. I used matte gel and fluid matte medium. Matte gel is typically for my papers, and fluid matte medium is for my tissue paper to make it go transparent. I didn't use any soft pastels on this one, which is surprising to me, but I liked it just the way that it was. I didn't want to add anything more to it. I did use a ton of paints. I used sap green and hooker's green. It always makes me laugh. I'm so childish. But sap green and hooker's green with a little bit of gesso to kind of get my variations of greens. Some pale terracotta, pale pink. I did not use this one. I didn't use the opera pink. I used quinacridone magenta and alizarin crimson hue. Alizarin crimson hue is that dark, dark red, and that's my base. And then some burnt sienna. I did not use any Prussian blue either. So these are the colors that I used. I used green gold. Did I say that already? I think I might have. Sap green, hooker's green, and green gold. Green gold with a little bit of gesso to give me that really pop, to kind of really stick with my color palette. I did make my center flower a little bit different. I went with the burnt sienna as my base. to make it different, because when you're creating a series you don't want them to all be the same. You want to have little nuances and different things that make them all different. I'm going to add a little shading here because it's driving me crazy. And let's see, charcoal pencil and for some scratchy marks, my Stabilo All for my shading. I used a very fine tip to kind of add some marks to my swirly swirls. This is a stencil. These are stencils. The leaves are freehand. What else? Oh, I used a palette knife to kind of get my scratchiness. I used acrylic ink in transparent raw umber. I used spray paint, and I had, I'll edit it out, but I went through 3 different cans. I ended up using neutral gray in my spray paint to get my my papers. And I tried to get this kind of grungy, like the splattery parts. Like this paper, right, this kind of stuff here is so good because look at how amazing it looks on the edges. It's hard to replicate that. So I used my spray paint for that. And that's really it as far as supplies. Black soft pastel. And that is it, I think. Fan brush, because I added some splatters. I did black over here and white over here. And that's it. Okay, so those are your supplies, and I hope you enjoy the video, so let's get creating. loves. Happy Sunday. Oh my goodness, I had so much fun. So down here on my table is my piece, and I'm just going to put my word down real quick here. It says determined, and we will talk about that in just a minute. And of course I will do a little bit of shading around it. You don't need to see me do that. This one was, it gave me a run for my money. But I got it. I got it figured out. And I just love her. So we went over all the supplies at the beginning of the video, and all the stencils that I used today will be on sale as usual. And today is the last day. When you watch this, it'll be the last day for the early bird pricing for my new workshop, Seasons of Change. It's a study in abstract landscape, a really fun, gentle, playful approach to abstracts, and it's got all kinds of goodness in it. It's collage and pastels and all kinds of stuff. Acrylics, acrylic inks. So check that out. I will have the link down below and the link to the blog. Hopefully, I've had a lot of technical difficulties with the workshop and I mean, it's just one of those things. But anyway, those two, the stencils and the workshop. And that is really it for things that I need to tell you, I think. If not, I'll have it in the blog if I've forgotten something. So from my journal page, let's see, it'll be, by the time you see this, it'll be 3 weeks ago. Journal page. Then I got like 100% inspired and created the Tender and Strong piece, and then decided I wanted to do a series. And this one is part of that series. I'm not going to make you watch me do all of them. We'll move on to something new next week. But I cannot tell you how I have felt. And so I'm filming this video. I kind of batch all my videos together. So this is just 2 days later, 3 days later from when I filmed the other video, last week, Sunday Inspiration. And in that time, I want to show you what I've gotten done. So let me just grab, so here is one. It has its final like finish on it, and then we're going to paint the sides and the back. This is one. This one's called Believe. This one is called Courage. This one is called, it's upside down, Strength. Look at that one. This one's the one I did last, I don't remember. No, this is not one I did on. I can't remember. I've done so many pieces of art in the last 3 days. And then you saw the one that we did last week. And then I have two more pieces prepped for part of the series. So that'll give me 6 pieces in this series so far. And I think I haven't edited the video yet, but in the video, I realized as I was creating the piece that we worked on today, I was dancing. I had my music on, and I was just going to town. I was in the zone. I was in my happy place, and it just felt so good. And I can't even begin to explain how I didn't realize how much I was struggling. And sometimes that's just what we have to do, because you just got to put your head down and go through the things and keep going. That's the most important thing. And so that as I was realizing that as I was creating this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to stop dancing because my hands are doing all these things in the video. And anyway, I thought, no, I don't want to stop dancing. I haven't danced in a long time like that. And so in this piece, I titled it Determined, because down here in each one I've scribbled out the meaning for the word believe. And this one says, I am determined to climb my way back, to bloom again, to do the things that are in my heart. And sometimes determined looks like we're slugging along, like there is no inspiration, like there is sadness. Sometimes determined looks like hurt, but we keep going. Sometimes determined looks like frustration or anger, but we keep going. And we continue to keep going, knowing in the back of our mind that we're not giving up. Whatever we're trying to achieve, whatever that is, whether it's creative inspiration, whether it's healing, whether it's job stuff, kid stuff, relationship stuff, we keep going. And we make a decision, I'm determined to sludge it out. Like I said last week or 2 weeks ago, I said I felt like I've been walking through mud for a long time because of all things that there were a lot of things that happened, but because of all things. And I also think too, and once we kind of get over to the other side where we're like, oh, okay, I'm feeling better, I'm seeing things, I'm understanding things, we can kind of reflect and take notes on where we were, what we did, how we did it, and kind of file that or journal it or whatever, so that when we come back into another season, which it undoubtedly will happen because that is life. And I knew to keep going only because I'd been here before. And when it breaks, it's like a hallelujah. The angels sing and we give thanks. But until then, we keep going. And keep determined and keeping going doesn't mean we don't rest. It doesn't mean we don't cry. It doesn't mean we're not sad. It doesn't mean we put on a happy face. I mean, you've seen me over the last, I'm going to say probably 5 months struggling. I've seen a lot of your comments and you're like, oh, it's so good to see you again. And determined, and that determined process is like, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do my things and I'm going to keep going in spite of all this stuff, and I'm just going to do it. And determined doesn't mean that we don't get help either, that we don't talk to somebody, that we don't take time for ourselves, for our prayer, our meditation, whatever it is that kind of centers you. Determined just means that we get up, and sometimes we don't put our pants on. Sometimes we keep our pajamas on, and we keep getting up. And we take small steps. But for me as a creative, I kept creating, even when it didn't feel good. And sometimes that's what we have to do. When it doesn't feel good, we just have to do it. It's like parenting. You know, when you're sick, you don't get a day off. You get up and you take care of all the things. And that's kind of what we have to do to kind of come back. And again, I want to repeat, that doesn't mean not taking care of yourself. That doesn't mean being fake. It doesn't mean you don't rest. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means we keep trying. We keep taking small steps. And so that's what determined, and each one of these pieces is part of me through these last months, through these last 2 years. I don't know. Each one of these is a part of the things that I have written, that I have struggled with. So, and when we're in this place of stuff, the self-doubt is unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. And when that happens, we need to find our people to speak the truth, because we tell ourselves lies when we're not strong. And so the self-doubt can completely wreck us. And we need to find our people that will tell us the truth, whoever that is in our lives, whether it's a therapist or our mates, our partners, our friends, whoever that is, our kids. And then we keep trying and we keep going. And that's all we can do. And eventually it will break. That is my inspiration for you this Sunday. That I want to encourage you, if you're in a place, which I talked to a lot of people this week that said, I feel you. I get it. I've been there. I am there. I've been there. Don't give up. Don't give in to that this is how it is. Because there's more for you. There's better for you. There's happiness for you. You are worthy of all of those things. And we just have to take one small step at a time. Take care of ourselves and keep trying. Keep going. All right, my loves. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday. I hope it's restful and peaceful. And I hope that you keep on going. That you know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And that you always, always know that you are loved.